Grammys Best Dressed. Olivia Rodrigo dazzles in busty gown while Chrissy Teigen and Carrie Underwood go big as they lead a red carpet full of fabulous frocks and outrageous shocks in Las Vegas. The biggest stars in the music world descended upon Las Vegas on Sunday afternoon for the 64th annual Grammy Awards ceremony at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. And Olivia Rodrigo, Chrissy Teigen and Carrie Underwood hit the high notes in the fashion department as they posed up a storm on the red carpet in Sin City. The 19-year-old singer wowed in a black and purple low-cut custom Vivienne Westwood couture gown with gloves while Chrissy, 36, and Carrie, 39, chose voluminous bold-hued gowns. Stunner. The biggest stars in the music world descended upon Las Vegas on Sunday afternoon for the 64th annual Grammy Awards ceremony at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. And Olivia Rodrigo, Chrissy Teigen and Carrie Underwood hit the high notes in the fashion department as they posed up a storm on the red carpet in Sin City. Comedian Trevor Noah is hosting the event, which is being televised and streamed live from the Sin City venue. Music's biggest night recognizes the best recordings, compositions, and artists of the eligibility year, which runs from September 1, 2020, to September 30, 2021. This year, composer and musical artist Jon Batiste surpassed all nominees with an impressive 11 nominations, while Justin Bieber, Doja Cat and H.E.R have 8 each, and Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo tied with 7. Former enemies Taylor Swift and Kanye West are up against each other in one of the biggest categories for Album of the Year, with their respective records Evermore and Donda. Breathtaking. Carrie Underwood looked absolutely stunning in an orange ombre gown with cascading tresses. Reunited Swedish pop group ABBA have their first ever Grammy nomination in their 48-year history for I Still Have Faith in You, in the Record of the Year category. She was rocking out on a classic silver and white Fender Stratocaster, while Lenny was playing what appeared to be a Gibson Flying V guitar. Just before Travis and Lenny joined her, H.E.R fronted her own performance with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis of Damage. Travis then joined along to play We Made It with her, before Lenny joined to rock out on his song. Justin Bieber took the show in more of a pop direction when he performed his single Peaches, with assistance from Giveon and Daniel Caesar. The Sorry singer briefly played piano on the track, before switching to vocals only. He wore lustrous black pants on stage, which he dressed down with a black hoodie and a backward baseball cap. Earlier in the evening, Olivia put on an emotional performance of her breakthrough single Driver's License. Fittingly, she performed the song partly while leaning against the hood of a white Mercedes. The actress and musician wore a plunging white spaghetti strap dress with a ruffled and frayed skirt, and she towered thanks to her black platform boots. Olivia began the number inside of the car, before stepping out to show off the stage, which was designed to look like a residential street. Her regular duet partner Tony Bennett appeared frail in a short but sweet video to introduce her just before she took to the stage, though he wasn't able to join her, as he continues to struggle with his Alzheimer's diagnosis. Gaga performed a medley of two standards, Love for Sale and Do I Love You, while photos of her and Tony together were projected on the back wall. I love you, Tony, I miss you, she said emotionally at the end of the performance as she sat on the stage's steps. While Gaga honored a friend who wasn't well enough to join her on stage, Billie Eilish paid tribute to a fallen idol. The singer-songwriter performed on stage wearing a shirt featuring a photo of the late Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins, who was found dead in his hotel room just days before his band was slated to perform at the Grammys. Billie paired her baggy black t-shirt with loose-fitting jeans, and she wore her black hair straight. She performed on a massive set designed to look like a doll's house. She was joined by her brother and collaborator Phineas, who played guitar on her single Happier Than Ever. He wore a black leather coat with black jeans. At the end of their performance, Billie grabbed at her shirt to highlight Hawkins' presence for the adoring crowd. John Legend then took to the stage while dressed in a blue suit and shirt to match the colors of the Ukrainian flag. He performed his song Free on the piano, but he got back up during the emotional ballad with performances from Ukrainian musicians who had just recently escaped from their war-torn country, including Mika Newton, Lyuba Yakimchuk and Susanna Igidin. Another moving moment from the 2022 Grammys was its In Memoriam segment. Following a tribute to Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins, Dear Evan Hansen star Ben Platt began a rendition of Not a Day Goes By from Merrily We Roll Along, written by the legendary composer and lyricist Stephen Sondheim, who died in November at age 91. Cynthia Erivo and Leslie Odom Jr. then joined him on stage for a duet of Sondheim's Send in the Clowns from his musical A Little Night Music. Capping off the performance was West Side Story star Rachel Zegler, who layered a version of Somewhere from her musical over the other two songs. The emotional ballad featured music by Leonard Bernstein for the Broadway classic, with romantic lyrics from Sondheim. After being introduced by Bonnie Raitt and Joni Mitchell, whose iconic album Blue she has covered in full in the past, she followed her mentor's lead by playing piano to open her song Right on Time. But Brandy's vocals and playing became more and more impassioned, and she switched over to guitar to shred with her band. He opened his performance of Freedom draped in a black cloak at a grand piano while showing off his jazz and classical bona fides. Country singer and guitarist Chris Stapleton's stage show was more muted, but his performance was just as fierce as he performed Cold with an orchestra and included a moving guitar solo. The rapper, who was joined by a jazz band, performed a medley of his biggest songs, including I Can, One Mic, Rare and Made You Look. The former American Idol star looked lovely in a short purple dress with a long train that whipped about in the breeze behind her as she gave the premiere performance of her song Ghost Story while accompanied by strings. The Grammys ended with the group Brothers Osborne, who won Best Country Duo Group Performance earlier in the evening, as they rocked on with Dead Man's Curve.